Greetings, Henry. I hear you won the rat-eye tourney. Well done, lad.
I'm back from scouting, sir.
Excellent. What have you found out?
There's an overgrown, ruined village in the woods where they're dug in.
That sounds like Pribyslavitz. It used to belong to Sir Divish before Havelmedic attacked and torched it, and then imprisoned Divish. It's been left abandoned ever since. I was hoping they wouldn't be so organised. Earthworks and fortifications. That's quite a different matter from routing some rabble out of the woods.
It's mostly bandits in the camp. They're not villagers with pitchforks, but not regular soldiers either.
No more than I expected. I have no fear of them, but underestimating the enemy can be fatal.
They're up to something in the middle of the camp. It looked like they were making several long ladders.
Ladders? That sounds like they're planning a siege. I like this less and less. On the other hand, we can use that to our advantage. If we can capture those ladders, we can use them to scale their own fortifications.
I took a look at their arms and armour. They're not a proper army, but they're equipped quite well.
What about archers?
There's a few of them, and they're positioned well. If we charge them head-on, they'll probably do us a lot of damage.
I don't like the sound of that. It complicates the situation. Dealing with them before the battle would be the best option.
I tried to count them.
And how many of them are there? Bear in mind I'm relying on what you say. We'll have to call for reinforcements, and that's no simple matter. Every man that comes with us will be lacking somewhere else. And I don't want bandits pillaging some other town because there's no one left to mount a defense.
There's quite a few of them there.
Perdition. We'll definitely need reinforcements. I think the Talmberg men should suffice. I don't like leaving the castle unprotected, but there's no other option.
That's about all I saw.
That's all right. Did you manage it?
No, sir.
Never mind. You did a good job anyway, and you deserve a reward. But now we must... I need you to go to Sir Divish in Talmberg and tell him to send Captain Robard and his men to our aid.
You can rely on me, sir. What should I tell...
Tell him to take all his men. Leave only the bare minimum at the castle and march to Pribyslavitz. I'll take everyone but for 1 or 2 sentries. Hopefully together we'll have enough men to defeat them.
All right, I'll get going.
And be quick. We've no time to spare. God be with you. Good luck, then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
God be with you, lad. What can I do for you?
God save, my lord. I hope things are peaceful in your fiefdom.
Peace? Peace is rare in these times. But right now I'm more troubled by politics than warfare.
What's wrong?
The monastery stalled the purchase of stone and everything connected to the building project. And now I find out it's because of the quality of the stone blocks, or so they say. I don't believe a word of it. It looks like profiteering to me.
Profiteering? What's the monastery trying to accomplish?
To lower the price. What else? We've already given them a fair price, and they still delay with payment. Or worse.
Worse? You mean they'll stop paying completely?
You could put it that way. They're looking for an excuse to back out of the contract and find another quarry where they'll be able to secure a more favorable deal.
What do they say is wrong with the stone?
Supposedly there was an accident when one of the stone blocks broke loose, fell, and killed someone. But the quarrymaster swears by all the saints it isn't possible. He says he sends only the best stone, and I believe him. He's reliable and an experienced quarryman.
And is anyone dealing with the problem?
Well, my chamberlain is in charge of it, as always. But all he's done is send them a letter. He says putting more pressure on the monastery could provoke them. Those are his words.
So there's nothing else that can be done?
I don't know. I've been thinking about taking a more direct approach. But I expect the chamberlain won't even hear of it. He'll just keep on sending them polite letters and hoping that does the trick.
I could help with this.
Do you think this is a job for you? You aren't even in my service.
I do serve Sir Radzig. He knows he can rely on me when he needs me, and I've never let him down.
This is true. So do you want to go to Sasau and ask about the stone?
Yes, I'll do it.
Good. I'd like you to ask about the stone and keep your ears open. See if they aren't...
I'll do my best. Hopefully...
They will. You... Farewell.
Sir Radzig sent me with an important message. He asked for reinforcement.
He needs more men? What's going on?
The bandits and humans have set up camp in Pribyslavitz. They're preparing for something. Sir Radzig wants to mount an assault on them.
Hang on. Easy now. From the...
I managed to track down the camp of the bandits who raided Neuhof. But it's not just a gang of brigands. More like a small army in a fortified encampment. I don't know what they're up to, but I'm sure they're getting ready for something. And Sir Radzig wants to destroy them before they get a chance.
So it's worse than I thought. But Sir Radzig is right. We should do something about them before it's too late. I'll send my soldiers.
Sir Radzig said to take all your men and leave only a minimum guard at the castle.
What? Everyone?
There really are a lot of them, Sir Divish. He's leaving the camp almost empty, too. We're to go and join his people in Pribyslavitz.
All right, then. Sir Radzig knows what he's doing. I'll muster the men and send them with Captain Robard in command. Would you lead my men there right now?
Yes, sir.
May God be with you in battle. Good luck to you.
I'm glad to see you, Captain Robard. I hope Henry's explained everything to you.
He did, but I find it hard to believe. Who could possibly put together such a significant military force, and right under our noses?
We'll just have to find out, but I don't think we will until after a battle. If we don't deal with them now, who knows what they'll be capable of in a week or two.
I agree entirely, my lord. What's the plan?
Right, lad. We're almost at the place you described. Now we'll have to advance cautiously. I need you to tell me how it looks around the camp so I can decide which side to lead the attack from.
Sir, that's a big responsibility. I don't think I should...
I asked you a question, boy. You've been there and seen everything, so speak up.
There are 3 ways to get in. Directly along the straight path to the camp, the long way round through the woods and over an old weir, or by a narrow bridge over a deep ditch.
Let's start with the direct route. That sounds like the easiest approach. How does it look there?
That path leads round their battlements. It's fortified and patrolled. The chances are they'd shower us with arrows on the way.
It's a good thing you're here, Henry. We'll have to try another way then. What about the approach through the woods and the weir? I don't like the idea of marching such a long way over rough ground, but if it's the better option...
It's a long way through the woods, and there are patrols there as well. They'll call the alarm before we reach the camp.
I thought so. What about the last approach, over the bridge? It's a bit narrow for my liking.
It's narrow, all right, but once we get over, we can quickly occupy the best ground for a battle. We only have to take down a few archers.
The battleground sounds inviting, but that bridge and the archers... It's not an easy decision. Each option has its pros and cons.
I try to answer to the best of my ability, sir.
And you'll be suitably rewarded for your efforts. From what you say, the route over the bridge is the best option. If we're fast, we'll have the advantage. With the help of God, we'll win this day. We'll approach from the south and storm them over the bridge.
Forward! March! To the bridge, quickly! Get to the other side! As many of you as possible! Hold your position there! Forward! Yeah! Oh! Hold your ground! Defend! All right, lad. The way's clear. Up and after. Oh, here! Deal with those before we're all shot! Muster up! Let's go!
Group together!
Deal with those archers before we're all shot!
Muster up!
This will be the toughest fight!
Advance!
Go!
Muster up!
Deal with those archers before we're all shot! Now to take the main
Muster
town.
up!
Get ready, men! This will be the toughest fight!
Let's go!
Stop where you are! Back down! Back down! Kill them! Bring a battering ram and smash down that gate!
Stick together and hold the line! Hold your ground! Sir! There's more of them coming from below!
What the hell? To your post! Defend this fucking hill! Get ready to defend! those archers before we're all shot!
Muster up!
Get
Go,
ready,
go,
men.
go!
This will be the toughest fight! with those archers before we're all shot! Now to take the main camp! Get ready, men! This will be the toughest fight! Onward! Boys! Up and up! Oh! Steal those archers! Kill them! We're all shot! Buster up! Let's go! Muster up! Deal with those archers before we're all shot! Now to take the main camp! Get ready, men! This will be the toughest fight! Go, go, go! Go, go, go! battering ram and smash down that gate!
Stick together and hold the line. Hold your ground. There's more of them coming from below!
What the hell? To your post! Defend this fucking hill! Put one step back! Oh! Knock you out! Let's get out of here! Everybody back! Stand your ground, you dogs! Drive them back!
I will cleave you in two, you bastard. I've tried before, and yet here I am. What? Who the hell are you? You don't remember me? I remember you, though. And where's my fucking sword?
What the fuck are you on about? What's...
Hang on.
You're the... Fuck me. I thought we left you to the crows. Tough little fucker, eh?
What did you do with my sword?
Judging by our last encounter, I'd say you made a big mistake coming here.
Where's my fucking sword?
But then again, maybe you've had some practice.
I hope so. Because last time was too easy. I'll wring your neck, you cur.
What? On bad for a peasant brat.
It's not over yet, you scum. Now where's my sword? What have you done with it? Talk, you bastard!
I'll see you in hell.
Tell me, do you hear me? Tell me what you've done with it!
I'd say you're flogging a dead horse there.
You took him down. On your own. Well done. Nice work. You surprised me. He was a mountain of a man.
He was the one who attacked Neuhoff. And stole your sword, sir.
The thought did cross my mind. What did he tell you? We'd taken him alive, the executioner might have gotten more out of him. Oh well, these things happen in the heat of battle. Anyway, we found a trunk full of coin down below. Someone was paying this gang very well. You know, some of Sigismund's barbarians among them. I don't think we've seen the last of this. Whoever engineered it was highly placed. They won't give up after one defeat. This louse was just a pawn.
I'm afraid you're right, sir. Well, lad, we live to fight another day, eh? That's the fear leaving you, lad. Let it go. Now, put it all behind you. A decent Christian shouldn't dwell on such horrors.
I beg to differ, sir. I never want to forget this. The time has come for those whoresons to pay for what they did to us.
You're right, my boy. But first, we all need some rest. We'll meet later in the upper castle in Rattay and then decide what to do next. But come what may, you did a good job today.
I will make you pay for this. It's time for the next part of our plan. Give the word.
Yes, sir.
Who are you? Hey! Hey! Piece of shit! You're done for, fucker! Stop CD! I'll slaughter you! Yeah! Straight to hell! God! You fucked up there?
Damn.
Hey! You've no business here! Clear off or you'll be sorry! What? Look out.
Can you hear me? Are you deaf? Come on. You there, stop!
Huh? Hey, you! Oh! Surrender!
You, stop right where you are! Hey, you! Don't move a muscle.
You've been lurking around where you don't belong. This definite. Oh. Oh.
The Lord be praised. What brings you to me?
Can I be of service to you, Sir Divish? I've heard talk that something is going on in Pribyslavitz.
Henry, you've come at... I sent a man to Pribyslavitz. My locator, Mar...
You're planning to resettle the village?
Yes.
Why Pribyslavitz, of all places?
Because it's been lying fallow and falling into ruin since it was sacked by Havelmetic years ago. It's about time that changed.
What's a locator?
A land allocator. I charged him with checking on the condition of the settlement to see if we can start rebuilding it.
Well, it should be safe there now. We trounced that rabble on the battlefield.
Yes, and that's why I sent my master locator there. However, he should have been back long since.
If you've no objection, I could go and look for it.
I'd appreciate that. He probably... Take care now.
Itt te kutya! Add meg magad, vagy kinyírunk! Most megkapod!
Bina! Not Jack! Not Jack!
So, it's all clear to me now.
What is? Who are you? You've no business here.
I'm Henry, and I was expecting to find you here.
What? How could you?
Sir Divish's locator went missing around these parts.
Well, it seems like he's all out of luck, don't it? Divish ought to have sent someone better than you to parley.
He didn't send me to parley, he sent me to deal with it.
Deal with it? There's plenty of us and you're on your own. So I think twice about how you're going to deal with that.
Enough beating around the bush.
At him, lads!
To arms! Get over here! Over here!
No, call him up! You'll get what for? To arms!
Is that the best you
Get
can do?
over here!
Is that all you've got?
Gone weak at the knees, have you? Bring it on!
Shit! What's the matter? Come on!
I'm coming.
Ow!
I'll slaughter you. Come here, lily liver. You'll get what for. I'll slaughter you.
Take that!
Ow.
To hell with you. Is that all you got?
Is that the best you can do?
God!
You'll get what for.
I'll slaughter you.
What's the matter?
Well,
All that contact.
here! You asked for it.
Gone weak at the knees, have you?
Ow!
Fuck.
Help me. Thank you.
My pleasure. Sir Divish sent me to find you, and it looks like I arrived just in time.
God's truth.
I'm Henry of Skalitz.
My name is Marius Bielek, Master Locator. Sir Divish sent me here to survey the area.
Well, the outlaws are out of the way, so we can go and report to him, right?
Not just yet. Those bastards caught me as soon as I arrived, and so far all I've seen is the inside of the tent they tied me up in. I still have a job to do. Although I won't see much in the dark, I'll have to spend the night. Though I doubt I'll get a wink of sleep after what happened. You sure there are no more bandits around?
You've nothing to worry about, unless you're afraid of hares.
Well, come to me after dawn and we'll look the place over together. I'll explain everything to you.
All right. Good night. Here I am.
Excellent. We can start inspecting the area right away to see what can be built where. Shall we get to it, then?
I'll escort you, then. At least I can make sure you don't get caught again.
What? Are there more of those bandits around?
No, I just meant... Never mind. Should we get going?
This is a good spot for the rat house. Every village must have one. It'll be nice and prominent here. It's on the hillside, so the foundations will stay dry. It can have its own little square, close to the church. There's no better site here. church is still standing. Good. Good. Whoever built it did a good job. Considering how old it is and what it's been through recently, it stood up well. It won't be an easy job to fix it, but it can be done. Timber alone won't do, though. We could fit at least one tradesman's shop here. Maybe a baker's? There's quite a lot of space here. It just needs clearing thoroughly. Then we could even fit stables here. Main approach road and stream. This bridge needs reinforcing. It won't last long in this condition. I reckon it would make sense to build a weir over the stream down there. The water here is clean. It can be used to supply the village until we sink a well. It's a good thing we have this stream. No point in building without a water source. Supplies and trade will flow through here. I can't even see past the trees and ruins whether there's room for anything there. But at least the trees are strong and healthy. All we need is a few good woodcutters, and we won't have to bring in any timber from elsewhere. Stone foundations. They'll come in handy, and we're close to the stream. Lots of space here. There's a well here already. All the better. Big space, clean water, close to the village green. A good site for an inn. That's that, then. Most essential surveying is done.
Good day to you. So, Master
There's a long way to go before that. It's all overgrown with...
Oh dear.
We'll have to get it all cleared before we can start...
So it is possible to rebuild everything?
Yes, absolutely.
But building...
We'll need timber, lots of it, which isn't a problem in the middle of the wood. We'll have to hire wage labor to begin with. I think we should get started without delay. I can just imagine...
Oh, that's good news. When will you inform Sir David?
Why wait? I'll head to Talmberg right away. But would you keep an eye on things here in the meantime? It would be rather embarrassing.
No problem. I'll be right.
It shouldn't take us long. My lord, welcome to Pribyslavitz. That is to say, welcome back to Pribyslavitz after all these years. Well, what's left of it.
Not to worry, Marius. I'm glad to be back in my old hamlet. Although, it seems to have aged about as gracefully as I have over the years.
I beg to differ, sir. It's quite dilapidated, unlike your good self, but at least it's safe now. Thanks in part to Henry here, who also saved me from a predicament that cost me valuable time. Who knows? If it hadn't been for him, we might not even be talking now.
Well, lad, in the end, you managed things in your own way, I see. Just as you said you would.
I did my best, sir. There was no reasoning with them. They thought since it was 4-1, I'd be no trouble.
I expect that was a fatal mistake.
Just so, sir.
No loss. At least they won't be troubling us again. Let's get down to the matter in hand, shall we? What state is Pribyslavitz in?
Sir, in my official capacity as locator, I am gratified to inform you that the hamlet of Pribyslavitz may be renewed. And indeed it offers prospects of considerable expansion beyond its former limits.
Splendid. Finally, some good news for this province.
And badly needed, too.
So, what have you discovered so far? I want to know all the details.
We had a scout around.
We conducted a basic survey, from which we can make a preliminary outline of the parcels. I already have in my head an initial plan of what can be built where.
We should certainly have a church. I'd like to preserve the existing one.
That should present no serious obstacles. The building is in much better condition than we anticipated. But extensive reconstruction will be required.
That's to be expected.
There's a stream here, And a well, right in the middle of the village.
Yes, and there are abundant woods around. Clearing them will provide both extra land and timber supplies that we can use right away.
Right now, I believe we're standing on the village green, aren't we?
The future green, that is. The village centre will comprise at least 6 large buildings to begin with. We can't fit any more than that here, so there will be other buildings away from the square, in particular more extensive structures.
I'm glad to hear it. I never expected you'd find so much space here in the middle of the woods. The building work we're about to engage in is only the first part of my plan. Later, we'll clear more forest for agricultural land and build more farmhouses. But for now, we'll have to focus on more sensible goals.
As you wish, my lord.
A village isn't a village without villagers. You'll need new subjects. Even preparing the ground for a building will need lots of labour. Where can we find so many people, sir?
You sound skeptical, lad, but it's a good question. I've already given it some thought. I've agreed with Radzik and Hanish that we shall make an announcement in Rattay to invite people to move here and help with the construction, which will bring them many benefits, but also obligations. In addition, I expect the prospects of a new home will appeal to your former Skalitz neighbors more than a makeshift camp by the castle walls.
They'll be delighted, sir.
A splendid solution, sir. I've also been concerned about how to bring settlers here, but now it seems there will be no shortage of new inhabitants after all.
Rebuilding a whole village must cost a king's ransom, though.
It's true it won't come cheap. Before the tradesmen settle here and start producing and trading, it will be necessary to invest a certain amount of capital.
A certain amount? How much exactly?
I wouldn't venture to state a precise amount at this point, but I expect it will come to some thousands, even tens of thousands of groschen.
Well, that much? I hope you're good at haggling.
We shall, of course, attempt to procure everything at the best possible price, but raising a settlement from the ashes you see around you is a costly business. Nevertheless, I can assure you, my lord, that if all goes well, the investment shall all come back to you with interest.
I hope I shall live to enjoy it, Master Marius. It seems things are finally looking up. We routed the bandits in battle, and Henry took care of the remnants. When can we get to work?
Right away, as far as I'm concerned. All we need is people and the necessary funds. And we'll need someone to keep order, at least in the interim.
True. I'll leave you some of my men.
If I may, I would recommend quickly appointing a bailiff to take responsibility for the renewal of the village, its coffers and its citizens.
True. First things first. Since you understand these matters best, you shall take charge of the land parceling and building works. You'll be available to the bailiff, but answerable directly to me.
I'd be honored, sir. Thank you.
And, as regards the office of bailiff, what about you, Henry?
Yes, sir?
You've proven yourself well. You've demonstrated that you're capable of solving problems, and you command the respect of your former Skalitz neighbors.
Well, I'm not so sure.
And you're also capable of maintaining law and order.
I must concur.
So, let us expedite matters. Henry, I hereby appoint you to the office of bailiff of the hamlet of Pribyslavitz, in my domain.
My lord, it's a great honor. Thank you.
You will oversee the initial renewal and administration of the village that will set the ground for further development. But don't imagine it'll be a bed of roses, lad. Being bailiff doesn't mean you can do whatever you like. If you don't treat the settlers rightly, I'll soon find out and relieve you of your office. Besides, we can't spare a single groschen from the Talmberg coffers now, with the province in chaos. So, you'll have to cover the cost for the building work from your own purse.
Me? But Marius said it would cost a fortune.
True, but from what I hear, you know how to get your hands on coin enough. So, I expect you'll manage it just fine.
I'd like to know who's been spreading such gossip.
And I am assigning you certain specific tasks. You must ensure the rebuilding of the church. That means complete reconstruction, wall paintings, and a new altar. See to it that in the future the village will be capable of supporting a certain number of people. For that, you will need to ensure the construction of essential artisans' buildings. And ultimately, the village must produce sufficient earnings to fund further expansion.
But, sir, I've never done...
I understand your concerns, but you'll be handsomely rewarded. I shall grant you the proceeds from the whole village for the first 5 years, and you have my permission to use the surrounding woods and land as you see fit.
Well, that's, I mean... Are you sure I'm the right man for the job, sir? It's a lot of responsibility.
As you said yourself, Henry, it's a great honor. Besides, you won't be alone in it. I'll assist you and supervise the construction work.
Phew. All right, then.
So, we're agreed. You'll give this document to the Rete bailiff. He'll make the announcement to invite settlers, which should ensure enough people to begin work. At the same time, your official appointment as bailiff will be announced.
I don't know what to say, sir.
I'm sure you won't disappoint me, Henry. And now I must get back to my duties at Talmberg. Send word when everything is prepared.
Certainly, sir. Have a safe journey.
Farewell, sir. Yeah.
Show what
Yeah.
you're made of.
Yeah. 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 How do you like it?
It's worse here than at Scarlett's. There you could disappear without anyone noticing.
But why would you want to disappear? Nimoy isn't here.
No, he's not. You better believe it. I'd like to pay him back for everything.
Drown him? What's he done to you?
It was the first or the second day here. We had a disagreement and I told him off. And then, all of a sudden, we're fighting and that fucker just throws me in the river. I nearly drowned.
Well, how did you get out? I thought you couldn't swim.
I can't. They pulled me out. I was up to my waist in water.
I see. Well, I'd be pretty fucking angry too. So you want to pay him back?
Exactly. I don't give a shit about anything around here. But that bastard's...
I spoke with him briefly and he doesn't seem...
Then you ought to try working with him. He's a sneaky bastard. And arrogant. You should see how he puffs himself up when he's off to play dice with Lawrence.
Who's Lawrence? Another mill?
Aye, but at the neighbouring mill. They call him the Wren. Damned if I know why. Thomas goes there to...
What about...
The miller's an old fool. He believes every word that comes out of Thomas's mouth. It's hopeless. And then there's the miller's daughter. She's a pretty lass. And kind with it. And what can she do?
Do you think he's jealous? Is she a...
You want my puppy dog eyes.
And what do you want to do about it?
No fucking chance. Matthew hopes so because he likes it here. It's true the work's better than them.
So how do you plan on dealing with it? Leaving?
Perhaps. But first, I want to give Thomas a proper...
And you think that will help?
Maybe. Maybe it'll knock some sense into that fat head of his.
That...
So why don't you arrange a fight with him? If we win, he'll leave us alone. Oh.
What?
We could lure him off someplace far away and then wait for him. Maybe to play dice with Lawrence. He would have to go through the dark woods.
I'll think about it.
See you later.
Jesus, what have you been up to?
I've heard you don't...
So you spoke to Fritz then? I bet that wasn't quite how he put it.
No, not quite. Apart from Thomas's name, the rest was mostly...
I can imagine. I've been hearing the same from him all week. The foreman here is a pain in the arse.
Always forcing you...
If only. That wouldn't be so awful. But nothing we do is good enough for him. There's always some reason.
I can imagine.
You know what it's like. We do too little, and it takes us too long, and what we eat's worth more than the work we've done, and it's no fun listening to that sort of shit day after day.
And the miller won't stick up for you?
Not really. He trusts that loudmouth bastard more than us.
I see.
What's so stupid is the mill really needs us. They haven't had any hands here for quite a while, and the mill needs a lot of fixing. But with them around, we can't even get to work.
And you definitely don't...
I've already told you once. He's an arsehole. I'd say there's nothing we can do about it.
Have you tried talking with him?
What do you think? But that just sets him off. He starts saying we're practically bandits, and what he's going to do about it. That gets Fritz...
And what do you want to do?
Actually, I'd like to stay here. At least for a bit. I never would have thought I'd like working at a mill. But not with him around.
Me?
They did once already, didn't they? They hired us because of you.
Back then, making promises was enough. Now, it will be...
You can forget about the miller. It's Thomas you need to convince. The miller takes his opinion seriously. So, will you do it for us? Again?
Fine. I'll try.
I'm glad. But try not to get on his wrong side. You won't get anywhere with him then.
I'll keep that in mind. I'd like to ask about that Thomas again. But never...
Well, get a job here as a...
And what does he do during the day?
Good one. He keeps his eye on everything, but his hand only touches the saw when the miller shows up.
Why?
The last time he did anything, he almost took his thumb off with a chisel. I wouldn't put an axe in those paws of his either.
So he's clumsy and arrogant. That's what you said about your last master, that Nimoy.
Aye, but at least you could sneak away from old Nimoy for a bit. No chance of that around here. Take care.
My respects to you.
Are you happy?
They're good carpenters, but someone constantly...
Really?
Yes, yes. When I'm there with them, everything goes smoothly. But
I've heard.
I don't know what I'd do without Thomas. He keeps an eye on everything for me now.
Yeah, but Thomas has problems with carpentry.
You're right. You should hear him cursing when he has to turn his hand to it. He knows he'll never be a real miller.
What, just because of that?
No. He's not too skilled at handling the water wheel and the mill run either. He can wield a shovel well enough, but otherwise I have to keep telling him how to do things.
So he's not been foreman too long then?
No. My son used to run the mill, but then his wagon overturned with him inside it. It'll be a year ago now, come spring.
I'm sorry.
Me too, boy. And after Martin was gone, the other workers left and only Thomas stayed. I don't know what I'd do without him.
What happened that day?
He was transporting new stone blocks for the mill and he had to take a detour. Since the wagon, it was after a downpour. The load must have slipped and the whole wagon fell on him.
So he was alone, with no one to help him?
Of course not. Thomas was there too. He helped Martin to load the wagon in Sasau, and both of them set off back.
Just the two of them? No one else was there?
No, they always did it that way. Martin didn't like dragging people where it wasn't necessary, when they could be doing work elsewhere. But if I had been there with them, maybe he'd still be alive. Thomas couldn't pull the wagon off him. He ran for help, but it was already too late.
I'm sorry.
He was a good boy.
Have you been with...
A long time. Since winter, it's been just...
Nobody stays around?
No. These days, it's hard to find a man you can rely on.
And how many have actually worked here?
About half a dozen, maybe more. We always put up with them till the most urgent work was done, then sent them packing.
And what about Jane? Shouldn't she have a husband?
What are you trying to say?
A pretty girl like her is right.
With a large dowry because she comes from a mill? Well, she had herself a man once, but he ran away.
And how long did he last?
You know, he was here for a while. But back then my son was a foreman and he was a kindly soul. Too kind. He never threw anyone out.
So everyone started leaving when Thomas took over?
Well, Thomas is a dog on slackers. And just as well. Maybe it's harsh, but that's what you need nowadays.
So the moment Thomas became mill foreman, everyone started running off? Not one man could stand it here, even if they had a chance to marry Jane. Don't you think Thomas might be doing it on purpose? Sounds to me like he's after the mill, or your daughter, or both.
That's not like him. He's a good man and straightforward. He knows I can always send for a new mill foreman.
And Jane?
Don't worry about her. She'll wed whoever I approve of, even Thomas if he asks for her hand. At least with him, I know he won't leave the mill.
Indeed, why would he, once he's got rid of everyone else?
That's enough. I don't know why you're trying to slander Thomas, but I don't mean to listen to it any longer. God be with you.
I heard what you asked my father. You can't expect help from him. He's none too sharp these days.
And can you help me?
No. Nobody listens to me. But I wanted to say that Thomas does do it on purpose. He did it the same way before.
Why?
Because he's afraid if someone comes who's more skilled, Father will notice and give his job to the newcomer.
And your father lets him? Can't he second us?
He probably could, but he doesn't want to. My brother was the mill foreman before him, but last year a wagon overturned on him, broke his back. It broke my father too. And Thomas was here the longest. He was always close to my brother, so Father chose him as the mill foreman.
What happened to your brother?
And what does that have to do with this?
I don't know. You mentioned it, so I was just wondering.
There's not much to tell. A stone block that was loaded wrong, slippery ground after rain, and when the wagon overturned on him, there was no one around to help.
What do you mean, no one? Surely he wasn't alone.
No, he had Thomas with him. But Thomas couldn't lift the wagon off him, and by the time he found help it was too late. And as if that wasn't bad enough, someone robbed my brother while Thomas was looking for help.
Someone robbed him after he was dead?
I don't know. But they took a mottled scarf which I gave him as a keepsake. He laughed when I gave it to him. He said it would make him look like a fop, but he still wore it all the time. And someone must have thought it was worth stealing.
But who'd steal a scarf?
Why are you asking me? When they brought him back here, he didn't have it. That's all I know.
I'm sorry about what happened to him.
Me too. But it was his own fault. If he'd brought more people with him, he'd still be alive. He was too kind for his own good.
And Thomas doesn't listen to anyone. Can't you persuade him?
No. He keeps looking my way and tries to be nice, but he doesn't care what I've got to say. When I tell him something, it goes in one ear and out the other.
And this probably won't end well. I understand.
I am at your service, Sir Knight.
So what do you think about the workers I brought you?
If I hadn't put in a good word for them, the miller would have thrown them out by now.
I heard them say something else.
So they're complaining, are they? I provide for them, and all they do is slack off.
Isn't it the miller who provides for them?
He can't manage the work anymore. If it weren't for me, there'd be nothing left standing around here.
But you need the help anyway, and they're pretty handy.
Maybe, but they're in no danger of overworking themselves. They act like they're too good for the mill, and I saw them eyeing up Jane.
Yeah, nothing strange about that. She's a pretty girl, and she's of an age to marry.
It's not marriage they've got on their minds. They'd have their way with her, then before her belly started to grow, they'd have run for the hills.
Look, we can reach an agreement. You need the mill fixed, they need the money. If they have peace to do their work, they'll be able to finish it faster.
But...
And then they'll take their groschen and leave. The mines will open again, and the faster they get their money, the quicker they'll be gone.
But do you really think I can trust them to do it? Will they do their work and leave? And leave Jane alone in the meantime?
Of course. They're not interested in the mill. They just need the coin to pay their debts. Once they've got enough, they'll have no reason to stay here.
I never thought we could sort it out this way.
I've known them for a long time, and you can rely on them when it comes to this. Everybody will be better off.
All right. If they keep their part of the bargain, I'll even give them a few extra groschen. But woe betide them if they don't. You can tell them that. Good luck to you.
Jesus, what are you...
It took some...
I'm glad to hear it. So we can...
He'll leave you alone, but there are conditions. Once you finish your job, you'll vanish from here. But you'll get an extra groschen or two.
And that's it?
Oh, and you're to stop dallying with the miller's daughter. Keep on mucking about with her and you'll muck things up.
The fucking bastard. He can go fuck himself. He'd better give us enough groschen to make it worth it. But I suppose I should thank you. You may have brought us some peace and quiet.
I spoke with the miller's daughter.
It's a shame her
father doesn't believe.
He reckons it's just a woman's fancy. He probably thinks she's smitten with one of us. Take care.
God save you, good night. What can I do for... Farewell.
are you?
What am I to do with her? Scarlet lies in ruins. Dear people, don't leave a poor woman to starve. Sigismund took everything I had. Godless beast, have some compassion.
Of course, my dear. Here you are.
Thank you, Mom. You have a good heart. I could die of shame to be reduced to begging. But what am I to do with her? Scarlet lies in ruins. Maybe he'll lay an egg. For the love of God, I've come from Skalitz, and all I ask of you is a crust of bread, a groschen, whatever you can spare.
Someone there.
Only bandits creep around in the dark without a light.
What are you doing creeping around like a footpad?
God be... May the Lord watch over you.
Good God, you look...
Master Bailiff?
Don't even...
You look like you've got... What's going on?
I've been given the task of putting... The worst...
How?
They're like to be more honest with you, so you...
If you need help...
You're a godsend. I'm sure it won't take too long.
What kind of work are we to...
Well, old Hagen is looking for a cook, and we need 3, actually 5 carriers. A little. We need 3 water carriers, but the other 2 will have to carry, begging your pardon, shit.
What do I need to know about the water carriers?
We need...
And they need to go all the way down to the river.
Of course, where else would they get it?
Can you... How come that?
I don't.
What can you tell?
It's dirty, but...
Sounds disgusting.
If all else...
Is there any... That's all I need to...
Good luck.
Take care. I'd like to talk... That's all I need.
Goodbye.
What's life like?
This is a...
What?
Young sir.
How?
God be with you. You were seen... Well, you won't forget...
All right.
And hand over... What? What the fuck are you doing? Keep your sticky fingers to yourself. Good day to you.
Master Bailiff?
Don't even talk. God be with you.